Hey everybody, it's Katie. Welcome to the Book Buddies, and today's video is my top 14 books of 2014. Woot woot. Okay, so I made this video earlier today with two other videos, and I did not like it. So I edited it out, or I didn't edit it out. It wasn't like it was like one big video. It wasn't. But I deleted it because I didn't like it, and then I was going to redo it, and then it turned out that I was busy all day, so it's like 1 in the morning now, and I'm making this video for you guys. Okay, since this video is pre-recorded, if any of these books change, I will put it somewhere around the video. These books are in no particular order until you get to my top 5, and most of these books did not come out in 2014. At least I don't think they did. Pretty sure that they didn't. If it's several books in a series that I liked fairly equally, I will put them all in the same category or in the same spot. That way it's not like all over the place and they take up room when they don't need to. And then I've also what was it? I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, and then also I will be telling you a brief synopsis, what I thought of the book, and my rating. We'll see how this goes, because the other one was really, really bad. Like, really, really bad. Let's get on. I had about 40 books to choose from, so it was a fairly large amount, but most of these had kind of been in my top 14 since I read them, so you know that kind of happened. Okay, so for the first book, I have Castle in the Air by Diana Wynne Jones. At least I think that's how you say it. This is the sequel to Howl's Moving Castle, although technically, like, these don't really have much to do with each other. It's not one ongoing plot through the two. And I think that there's a third one that she came out with in 2008. I'm not completely sure. But even still, you really need to read Howl's Moving Castle before you read this one, because near the end there's some overlapping and some spoilers. But I'm not really sure how to tell you what this book is about without being like really rambly and incoherent, so I'm going to just tell you what the back says, because it's easier. There are a couple that I'm going to do that with, because they do a lot better job at, you know, coherently telling you what it's about, unlike what I just said. So, yes. The back says, in which a humble young carpet merchant wins, then loses, the princess of his dreams. Far to the south of the land of Ingri, which is where Howl's Moving Castle is based, in the sultanates, I don't know how to say that, of Rajput, there lived in the city of Zanzib a young and not very prosperous carpet dealer named Abdullah, who loved to spend his time daydreaming. He was content with his life and his daydreams until one day a stranger sold him a magic carpet. That very night the carpet flew him to an enchanted garden. There he met and fell in love with the beauteous princess Flower in the Night, only to have her snatched away right under his nose by a wicked jinn. With only his magic carpet and his wits about him, Abdullah sets off to rescue his princess. I'm not very good at reading, I'm sorry. My nose is itchy. This was a very enjoyable read. I gave it 3.5 stars, I think. There's only 2 books in this video that have less than 4 stars, and this is one of them. I got this book several years ago, like two years ago, I think, and I took it on a trip out of the country, and it got so messed up on the way. Oh, my poor book. I think I may get a duplicate copy someday. I don't know. But, yeah, I recommend these 2 books, Howl's Moving Castle and this one, because they're really good. And watch the movie of Howl's Moving Castle. It's totally different from the book, but it's still amazing. The second book I have, which is book 13, I think, if you're counting down. Yes, book 13. And it is The Assassin's Curse by Cassandra Rose Clark. At the making of this video, I have not read A Pirate's Wish, but if I have, by the time this video goes up, I'll put it somewhere on the screen. This is a story about a pirate named Inanna whose family tries to sell her off to why do I keep saying that? This book is about a girl named Inanna who's a pirate whose family, her parents, try to marry her off to a different pirate clan. She doesn't want to marry the guy. She doesn't want to marry the guy, so she runs away on the back of the camel. And because the other family it feels like super disrespected, because, you know, I would. They send an assassin after her, and they just somehow release a curse that binds them together, and then they end up having to help each other. And it's really cool. It's really adventurous, really fun. There's a little bit of a romance brewing in this one, but it's not like full-fledged romance. And I think it's gonna be how the second one is, so I don't know about that. But yes, very enjoyable. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars, I believe. I think I did. Very fun. Read it. You should read it. You should read all of these. You should. Book 12 is The Reichenbach Problem by Martin Allison Booth. This is the other book that was only 3 stars, and the reason it is 3 stars is because it was kind of difficult for me to read. It's written in Conan Doyle's point of view. I should probably tell you what... Okay, so this is another one that I'm going to read the back of because I wouldn't be able to coherently tell you what this is. So it starts off with a quote from what's in the book. It says, I was still not quite sure when exactly my disinclination towards people began. I know, though, that it had a great deal to do with the bane of my life, the great Sherlock Holmes. Synopsis. Conan Doyle is on the run from his own fame, and the impact it has had on his life. Having fled to a peaceful village among the mountains that house the Reichenbach Falls, he hopes to find the anonymity he needs to decide the destiny of his most popular creation. Yet peace eludes him as he finds himself drawn into the mystery surrounding the death of a fellow tourist. Who killed Peter Brown? What does the local priest know that he's not saying? What effect is Holmes having on Doyle's psychological state, and is it malignant? Soon he finds the finger of suspicion is pointing at him as the locals unite behind the troubled Holloway who believes he is the embodiment of Sherlock Holmes. This book is written in Conan Doyle's perspective. It is very well written, very well written. The story is very good, and the twist at the end took me by complete surprise. I was so confused, and I mean, I understood it, but I was just like, what? When I first read it, I was like, what? But if you read Sherlock Holmes, you should know what the Reichenbach Falls, why the Reichenbach Falls are so important in this, why this book's Reichenbach Falls is so important. You should just read this. If you like Sherlock Holmes, you need to read it. You need to read it. Read it. The next book I have here is The Alchemist by Michael Scott, the first book in the Immortal Nicholas Flamel series. At the making of this video, I have not read The Magician yet, so if I have, I'll put it somewhere around the video. I gave this book 4 stars. Yes, I gave this book 4 stars, and again, I'm going to read the back. I'm sorry. I won't do that for many more, but I'm sorry. Really. Okay. The truth. Nicholas Flamel was born in Paris on September 28, 1330. The records show that he died in 1418, but his tomb is empty. The legend. Nicholas Flamel lives, the secret of eternal life hidden within the book he protects, the Book of Abraham the Mage. It's the most powerful book that has ever existed, and in the wrong hands it will destroy the world, which is exactly what John Dee plans to do when he steals it. And if the prophecy is right, Sophie and Josh Newman are the only ones with the power to save the world as we know it. Sometimes legends are true. This is the first book in a 5-book series, I believe. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5. I really enjoy it. It's got magic and alchemy, and it's a bunch of different mythos. Mythos? Is that even the right term for that? I don't think that is. There's a bunch of different mythologies, legends, that kind of thing. Mostly European, but there is a little bit of Egyptian in there. I don't know about Greek. I think there's a little bit of Greek. I don't really fully remember if there's a little Greek. But since I haven't read all of them, I'm really not sure if there's more in them, because in the third there's pictures of the 5 or other 4. On the what looks like the 4th one, there's a Chinese character, so there might be some Chinese or Japanese in there too somewhere. I'm not sure. These are really good. Book 9? No, book 10. Book 10 is The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. I gave this 4.5 stars out of 5, and if you want to know more about my thoughts on it, I will link me and Kayleen's discussion video in the doobly-doo below. But this book is about a girl named Liesel who lives in Nazi Germany from the 1393 to 13? Did I? 13? 1939. Sorry. 1939 to 1942. And it's about her life with her foster family. And she steals some books, as you probably know. This book is so sad, but it's so wonderful. I mean, it's great throughout all of it. I mean, the whole thing is wonderful, wondrous, but be prepared for feels when you read it. The next 2 books, I've only got 1 book here, but it is the first 2 books in the Tiger's Curse series, and the first one is The Tiger's Curse. This one is The Tiger's Quest. The Tiger's Curse is in my sister's room, and I just don't want to go get it. But these are by Colleen Hawker. I think that's how you say her name. And this series is about a teenage girl. Her name is Kelsey Hayes, who the summer before her first semester of university needs a job. So she goes and gets a job in a circus where she meets this tiger named Ren, and then she ends up in India somehow, and then there's this giant curse that she's somehow involved in. There's magic, there's Hindu goddesses or Indian goddesses, tigers obviously, and then there's a really stupid love triangle that I don't like. But I don't like any kind of love triangle, but you know, why does everything YA needed love triangle? Why? I'm sorry. I don't like those. I don't like any kind of, well, some romance is good. There are some romance stories that I really like, but I feel like a lot of times it detracts from an adventure that could be there if it's like super blatantly obvious that there's romance brewing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But anyway, I gave these books 4 out of 5 stars. They're really good. I'm waiting for the 3rd one to go into paperback. I don't think it is in paperback yet, but that's what I'm waiting for, and then I'm going to continue on. Next book is Half Bad by Sally Green. This is the only witch book that I have ever attempted to read that I liked, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. This is a story about a boy named Nathan who is half white witch, half black witch, therefore half good witch, half bad witch, and both sides keep trying to kill him. Yeah. It's just really interesting. It's really interesting. I really enjoyed it. The pacing was a little odd, and the beginning was really weird. Really weird. It started out in like 2nd person, and I was just so confused. I was like, please tell me that this isn't going to be how the whole thing is. I was like, I don't think I can handle the U's, cause but it did like it does like make you intrigued. I mean, you are very intrigued when you read that 2nd person point of view. I really like this book. Like I said, give it 5 out of 5 stars. There's really nothing more I can say about it. It's just really good. There you go. Next book is The Diviners by Libba Bray. This book is about a girl named Evie who moves to New York to live with her uncle that owns a mystery and occult museum that she calls the Museum of Creepy Crawlies. So while she's there, the police come and ask her uncle to help with some weird murders with a weird murder. And that's how the story, well, it's not how the story begins, but if I tell you the very beginning, it might seem kind of spoilery, but that's how the story starts. This book is a historical fiction paranormal thriller. It is very freaky. It's a good Halloween read. I actually read it in June because I was impatient. But I read this in one sitting. From where I live to Dallas is about 6.5, 7 hours, and we were on a trip to Dallas, so I just took this and I read the whole thing in that one trip to there. Not to and back, to. Yeah, it was really good. I really liked it. It's really freaky. Don't read it at night. And I can't wait for the second one, which I think comes out next year, although the covers are changed and they look awful, but what can you do? And then my next book is the entire collection of Sherlock Holmes, which is The Greatest Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. 44 short stories and 4 novels. Novels. I said that weird. Novels. I'm not going to tell you what Sherlock Holmes is about because you probably know, and that's really complicated. I gave this whole book 5 out of 5 stars, although some of the novellas were more 3-star reads for me. The short stories and the others that I really enjoyed totally made up for those, and it's definitely a 5 out of 5. Beware though, if you try to read this whole thing like I did, you will be extremely brain dead by the end. Extremely. I read this whole thing in a month and I was just like, it was awful. I was so, there was like nothing going, there was like too much going on in my brain and yet nothing was going on at the same time. It was weird. It was just don't do it. And now for my top 5. Yeah. Some of these will probably not come as a surprise, but yeah. Number 5 is The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. Ah, The Lord of the Rings, I love you so much. I've loved your story forever. You're technically 3 books because they decided to split you into 3 parts. That didn't make any sense. I don't know why I said that. This would probably be up higher on my list if, I didn't know the stories basically by heart anyway before I read these. And if I hadn't read the first and over half of the second one like 3 years ago without even realizing that I never finished. But if you don't know what The Lord of the Rings is about, I don't know how to tell you myself without giving away a lot. So again, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to read the back. I'm sorry. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them. I don't have a low enough voice to say that. In ancient times, rings of power were crafted by the elven smiths, and Sauron, the Lord of Dark, sorry, the Dark Lord forged the 1 ring, filling it with his own power so that he could rule all others. But the 1 ring was taken from him, and though he sought it throughout Middle-earth, it remained lost to him. After many ages, it fell by chance into the hands of the hobbit, Bilbo Baggins. When Bilbo reached his 11st birthday, he disappeared, bequeathing to his young cousin Frodo the ruling ring and the perilous quest to journey across Middle-earth deep into the shadows of the Dark Lord and destroy the ring by casting it into the cracks of doom. It's so good, so good. So good. I don't know what else to say. So good. Book number 4. Book number 4 is Nightmares by Jason Segel and Kristen Miller, illustrated by Carl Kwasny. What? Yes, it's illustrated, and the illustrations are fantastic. I'm going to try and show you one that's like not all black like I did before. See those creepy looking bunnies? You see them? Okay, so this is a story about a boy named Charlie Laird who okay, this is a story, I'm going to restart. This is a story about a boy named Charlie Laird who's father marries a woman that he is sure is a witch, and they have to move into her giant purple mansion that is on the cover, which is a place that most people say do not go. He immediately, after moving in, starts having some really, really awful nightmares every night, but that's not the worst of it. The worst of it starts when the nightmares start coming true. It's really good. It's really cute. It's really adventure-y, really fun. It's not scary at all. And it is a middle grade, so it's a super easy read. And it's just really fun. I like middle grade novels because they're just fun. I mean, there's no, like, you don't have to just constantly think about it. You just know what's happening. It's just really fun, super adventure-y, easy read. You could read this in a day. Like, it's just really good. And the back of this says is so cool. Good night, Charlie. Sleep tight, Jack. Turn out the lights and watch your back. I love that. And not only that, but this book is beautiful. It's so pretty. Like, even like the back and this. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. This and the Lord of the Rings books, or that Lord of the Rings book that I just showed you, are like two of my prettiest books. But yes, 5 out of 5. All of my top 5s are 5 out of 5, so it's yes. Yes. Ah, so good. Number 3 is actually 6 books, and it is, if I can hold these, the first 6 books in the Artemis Fowl series. There are 8 in the series. I didn't get a chance to read the other 2, and I probably won't get a chance to read the other 2 by the end of the year. But yes, so all of these books got 4 and 5-star ratings. This one, The Eternity Code, if I could give it higher than 5, I'd give it like a 7. It's my favorite. It's so good. But basically this is a story about a boy named Artemis Fowl, who is a genius, millionaire, criminal. He's kind of awful, actually, and he's not a nice person. He's not a good person. And in here, I'm going to redo that. This is a story about a boy named Artemis Fowl, who is a genius millionaire criminal. And one day, he just decided he's going to steal some fairy gold. And now, this happened. This all happened because he wants fairy gold. Because he decided to get some fairy gold. Steal it. He stole it. He's trying to steal it. Anyway, these are super fun reads. I read each of these in one sitting, or in one day. Not necessarily one sitting, but in one day. They're really fun. They're very adventure-y. The fairies in these aren't super creepy and weird. Like, I think most of them are described as just very small adults. Like I think they describe the elves, or like I think one of the descriptions is they're basically children with adult proportions. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what they look like. Children with adult proportions. And pointy ears. But still, they're fairly normal. I mean, some of them aren't, like goblins and those kinds of creatures. But, I mean, centaurs. But all in all, they're pretty normal. They're also an elite society, and it's so cool. They're so smart. It's so cool. None of that is spoilery, by the way, because it says that in, like, I think it's, like, this first or second chapter that's stated, so that's not spoilery. It's in this one. But yes, first 6 books of Artemis Fowl. If I had read the other 2, this might have been a little farther up, but I kind of doubt it, because the last 2 are pretty epic. And number 2, which was originally number 1, is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. This is the most adorable book I have ever read. It's so cute. It's so cute. This is about a boy named August Pullman who has a facial deformity and has never gone to, like, legitimate school. Like, he's always been homeschooled until, I think it's 5th grade. Yeah, it's at 5th grade. And an interesting thing about this is that it's from multiple perspectives. Starts out by August and then it just like moves. And on the back it says, I won't describe what I look like. Whatever you're thinking, it's probably worse. And an interesting thing about this is that you never really get a full description of Augie. I mean, you get a gist of what he looks like, but you don't really get a full description. And it's so sweet, it's so cute. There are some feels in this book, but in general, it's just amazing. The writing is amazing, the story is amazing. You just need to read it. This is another middle grade. I read a lot of middle grade, I'm sorry, but it's so cute. Just read it, guys. Just read it. And then number 1, which wasn't number 1 until like 2 days ago, and it is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. The only thing I'm going to tell you about this is that it's about a boy who lives in a graveyard. And that's all. Because that's all I knew when I started it. That's all you need to know. And it's so good. It's so good. I need some more Neil Gaiman in my life. The writing was amazing. Like, probably one of the best, or one of the most well-written books, especially for middle grade, that I have read. It's not super long. It's got illustrations in it, which was cool, because I didn't know that it had illustrations until I brought it home, and I, like, freaked out. My mom was like, "Ugh, shut up, it's not that big a deal." She's just like, okay. But, yes, I need some more Neil Gaiman in my life. It's so good. This is a 5 out of 5. Like I said, all of my top 5 are 5 out of 5s. That's why I didn't, tell you in every single one. But it's so cute. It's not really cute. It's just really good. And, like, the end. The end. There's some feels in this book, but it's so good. It's so good. I don't know what else to tell you. Just read it. If you haven't read Neil Gaiman, read Neil Gaiman. I need more Neil Gaiman. You should just buy all of his books. I may do that. It's one of the best writers I've ever heard or read. What? Anyway, guys, that was my top 14 of 2014. I'd hold them up, but that's a little bit much, and I'd probably end up having half of them out of frame anyway. So, I'm not reading a book as I am making this. I'm in between books, so I'm not sure which one I'm going to be reading first. But, yes, we will be, I will be starting a new one tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. Anyway. That was my video. I have a whole bunch of videos planned for this year. I've probably already put up 2, I think. 2. But I've got a couple more coming. I have a couple more coming. Or at least 1, 2. I think I have 2 more coming after this. And I will see you all then, I suppose.